Hi, welcome to another episode of Rocky Mountain Ranch Research with me, Katie Paige. It's been a little while since I've created any new content for the channel, as it's been really busy for us since we've been back from Contact in the Desert. It was a fantastic event. I encourage all of you, if you've never been before, maybe make it your destination for next summer. Usually occurs around the end of May. We haven't announced official dates yet, but there's something out there for everybody. They kind of meet you where you're at. So there's things going on all the time. You can pick and choose what you're going to do. And like I said, whatever you're interested in this field, there's something there for you there at Contact in the Desert. And I will drop in this video right now, just a little slideshow that I made of that event. So that was a lot of fun. And we are back here in Colorado, safe and sound.
This year everybody's talking side games, remote viewing classes and unlocking hidden brains, crystal skull vibrations and frequency healing tones, energy alignment through the static in our bones. Some say consciousness can open up the door. Others swear they've seen these things before. And somewhere between belief and fear, the desert makes it all feel real out here. Some swear Venus is a mothership, some think drones are alien trips. Some got podcasts, some got rage, some just wanna finally leave the cage. Some seek healing, some seek signs, some think disclosure's right on time. And maybe out there beyond the stars, something really isn't ours. Welcome to the venue where the strange belong, where believers and skeptics all sing the same song, where the desert wind whispers through the night air, and everybody thinks the answer's waiting there. Some come broken, some come wise, some come chasing lights across the skies. And whether it's madness, hope, or fear, they all keep coming back here every year to Contact in the Desert tonight.
Other events that are coming up, though, August 13th through the 16th out here in Colorado in the San Luis Valley is the big Snippy event. They put up 2 ginormous tents. You can camp, you can RV, you can stay in Alamosa at the hotels, and that's what we choose to do. But they have dinner served, they have speakers, many great speakers. If you want to find out more information about this fantastic event, and I have to tell you, if you come out to the San Luis Valley, you will see something anomalous. We've seen something every year out there. It's dark sky territory. It's gorgeous. Highly recommend. It's a lot of fun. It's a smaller event, a smaller venue out in the great outdoors. So you really get a chance to really get to speak with people one-on-one in a more intimate setting, which I always appreciate that. And if you want more information about the Snippy event, check that out at snippy.space. Then right after that, that next weekend, I'll be out there in Cincinnati, Kentucky, Cincinnati, right there on the border for the MUFON Symposium. That's always a great time, great event. So if you want to support MUFON and what they do, that's August 27th through the 30th. Hope to see you out there at the MUFON Symposium. And again, if you want more information about that one, it's mufonsymposium.com. And then I'm excited to say that I'll be added on as a speaker for the Vernal Phenomenon event in September 9th through the 12th out there in Vernal, Utah. I'm anxious to be speaking there. And of course, for the MUFON Symposium and the Snippy event, I'm going to be discussing the Roswell-Denver body connection. But at the Phenomenon event, I will, of course, be speaking about the Rocky Mountain Ranch. And I'm going to include a lot of the MK Ultra, John Duke kind of Badinsky research that I've done. So it'll be a new updated Rocky Mountain Ranch presentation there at Phenomicon, so I hope to see you out there in Vernal, Utah. Speaking of the Denver-Roswell body connection, Colorado MUFON just had Don Schmidt this last Saturday, so we got to visit with Don Schmidt, and it was really great to see him, and hopefully we'll be collaborating on something I can't really speak about yet later in the year, so that's exciting as well. He's one of my favorite researchers, investigators in the field. The work he's done there at Roswell is just, no words, just gratitude and appreciation for all of his hard work. Let's see, what else did the other thing, the other night, 2 nights ago, we went to see Disclosure Day. And I haven't posted or given my feedback on it, but all I can say, it's a great Steven Spielberg movie. Totally loved it. I think it's kind of been interesting to hear the different opinions from different people in the field on how they felt that movie was. But I kind of feel like people that are more experiencers or who have those lucid vivid dreams or have these kind of downloads, the screen memories, all of that, feel like really connected to the film. I certainly did. I really liked it a lot. And others that wanted the more, historical cases, crash retrieval, that kind of data, more kind of the close encounters of the third kind feel, which I love too, are a little disappointed, but I like where they went with this film. I highly recommend, if you haven't checked it out, go in with I went in there, I tried to delete all the comments I heard on both sides and went in there just to enjoy the film, and I absolutely enjoyed the film. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. Let's see. I guess that's it. I think what we're going to do now is just continue a little bit with the reading of the choppers and the choppers. And, I know we're going back decades here with this animal mutilation mystery. And quite frankly, it's something I didn't want to touch for many years. I knew it was a big part of what happened there at Rocky Mountain Ranch. And, for many reasons, it can be pretty scary to talk about these animal mutilations, very mysterious. But it's an ongoing thing, and I just couldn't avoid it because it's such a big part of what's happening, especially here in the state of Colorado. So, and it's more relevant than ever as I'm uncovering some of the more, Black Access Project, MK Ultra kind of experiments with GATE program. And that's the other thing. Another announcement, I was included in a film that is now or will soon be out in the next few days on Amazon Prime called Psychic Agent, which explores the GATE project and the MK Ultra documents and things like that. And what I'm excited about being part of that is, for the first time, we made the connection with Thomas H. Badinsky, Area 51, the SR-71 Blackbird, and his work here in Colorado with the biofeedback program. And I was very honored to be part of that. So please check that movie out on Amazon Prime. I will go ahead and drop the trailer for that in right here so you guys can see that trailer. And I was very honored to be a part of that.
Many people claim, and many others question, the existence of ESP.
CIA Director Stansfield Turner had disclosed the CIA chief said that the agency found a man who could see what was going on anywhere in the world through his psychic powers.
An individual can sit down and describe the scene 10,000 miles away. What does that really mean?
We provided information to the military, the CIA, the DIA, and other three-letter organizations, 3 letters that we've never heard of.
We had a success. We found that airplane. Surely, that's not going to end there.
What more could this be used for? Could one get inside of someone else's head?
The Russians were doing psychic spying, but they were also doing a program called Dalny Hypnos, and that is hypnosis at a distance.
Can they handle this topic, without becoming overly emotional one way or another?
I thought, the Army doesn't use psychics. Come on, that's crazy.
If a person's belief system does not believe in remote viewing, nothing you do is going to change their mind.
At that time, it was politically profitable to somebody to not find him.
People with precognitive abilities have been around for centuries.
I have a lot of information in my head that is going to die with me, yeah.
And happily say I'm the one that created the word Stargate.
There were several reasons why the program closed down.
And what about today? Are there any operational groups right now ongoing somewhere within the government?
Is it possible that after Stargate was shut down, a new program opened, way more sophisticated and invasive?
Such a program were to exist, I think it would be so compartmentalized and so buried so deep.
But nobody really ever talks about that unit. And I won't either. You can get to a person at the subconscious level and persuade them to do things. I had one of the highest security clearances in the government. From what I was told, there are only 17 people who ever had that high security clearance.
Is it possible to psychically assassinate someone?
I won't really go into that. There's some things you don't want to know.
You're finally starting to remember.
You should be hearing my voice. You should be hearing my voice. You should be hearing my voice in your right ear.
So please check that out on Amazon. Okay, so we're going to continue on with the reading of The Choppers and the Choppers, Mystery Helicopters and Animal Mutilations, Revised Edition. This was first published in 1980 by Project Stigma. I just realized that this is a signed copy we have here. Tom Adams signed this copy to Antonio Huneeus, so that's pretty cool. We ended up with Antonio Huneeus's collection, or some of his collection. The vast majority of it is, of course, housed at the National UFO Historical Archives in New Mexico, outside of Albuquerque there in Rio Rancho. But we did just acquire another 8 boxes of books. We keep acquiring these collections for this archives up here, and quite frankly, these books aren't doing anybody any good if they're not available for me to share with you guys by doing what I'm doing here. But we have a lot of doubles and triples, so I feel like I would like to create a page on Rocky Mountain Ranch Research's website where we can sell some of these doubles. We'll make them very, very reasonable, and look for that here in the coming week or so. I'll get a page up and you guys can cruise all our doubles we have here in the library, and I'll set up a way that we can get these books into the right hands. So without further ado, let's continue the reading of The Choppers and the Choppers. Okay, so we're going to start here. We left off last time where they were talking about if helicopters in the 70s are silent or not. And it starts off here by saying the helicopter has come of age. And then in parentheses it says Bell Helicopter Textron spokesman Pat McGuire. If the 70s saw an increasingly progressing age of helicopters, the same decade was also the heyday of the animal mutilators. In most mutilation events, nothing is seen and nothing is heard, in the air or on the ground. But in hundreds of incidents, compared to thousands of mutilations, suspicious, low-flying, unmarked, unidentified helicopters have been seen and heard by witnesses. Are there any conventional explanations for the mystery helicopters seen in areas of mutilation activity? And do any such explanations hold water? Helicopters used in drug smuggling? District Attorney's investigator Lou Gerardo of Trinidad, Colorado, is often thrust into drug smuggling probes in his area, and fixed-wing craft are often involved. But the use of helicopters in such operations has been largely discounted by Gerardo and his contacts in the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Bureau of Customs. The choppers are just not feasible. They're not long range enough, they're too expensive to operate, and they just don't hold that much cargo. So choppers have been all but discounted in smuggling operations. Military helicopters on maneuvers or choppers in transit to other military bases? Is that an explanation? As an example, Information Officer Major Arnie Anderson of the Army's Fort Carson Military Reservation near Colorado Springs was interviewed by Bella Stumbo of the Los Angeles Times during the height of the mutilation helicopter siege in Colorado in 1975. Anderson's comment. We have 3 helicopters, all clearly marked with large red crosses on their sides, which often fly all over Colorado on emergency rescue calls from local sheriffs. Otherwise, our helicopters, about 80, do all their practice and training drills on the Army reservation. They do not leave the base unless it's to assist in a National Guard operation or to move to another military base. And when off base, they never fly below 1,800 feet. Our choppers are so controlled, it's unbelievable. When not in use, they're locked 24 hours a day, and every pilot lifting off the pad must file a complete clearance report on his destination. In Stigma number 5, Fall-Winter 1978, we outlined the most prominent speculative explanations accounting for the mutilation helicopter link, including the following. Okay, I like these because what's amazing is they're still all great questions today in 2026. So, I mean, what the heck, right? I mean, I feel like if we can just figure out some of this mutilation mystery, then maybe we would have more answer to the overall bigger picture. That's how I feel. I don't know. Okay, so here we go. The helicopters are themselves UFOs, disguised to appear as terrestrial craft. I don't know. I don't buy that one. Let's go on to the second one. The choppers originate from within the U.S. government military and are directly involved in conducting the actual mutilations. That could be true on a very small percentage. And I say that only because through all these decades, through all the work that many of the pioneers have done, there's just too many very unusual circumstances with no tracks or traces or footsteps or sounds miles off the county road. I've myself talked to ranchers that feel watched. These things are done very quickly there's just too many mysteries, 2 mutilations happening, one dropped in a tree, no sounds around. So that one, if it is the U.S. government military directly involved with the mutilations, it's a small percentage. That's at least how I feel about it. I'm sure many would agree with me on that. I'm not saying none of them are. Certainly some could be. Okay, next. The helicopters are governmental, military, and are not involved in the mutilations, but are investigating and monitoring the activities of the real mutilators. The problem here arises in attempting to explain the presence of mystery helicopters at mutilation sites well in advance of the mutilation itself, like in the Raystrom case, for instance. That's really important. I really felt like that might be a great explanation. Like they're just out there after the fact trying to figure out what the heck's going on and investigating and that. But in certain cases, these helicopters, even Bill Wall, the undersheriff, when I interviewed his widow, Jean and Keith, they actually had choppers flying off on and off their property. And then not too long after that, a big orange orb of light just shoots off from the property. So and same with some of the MUFON, like with the Colorado MUFON, when I was state director and an investigator with MUFON, some cases would come on. One of my favorite cases when I was investigating with MUFON, there was a woman that lived outside of Parker, Colorado. It was in the morning, sun was up. So early in the morning, she's on her way to work, midweek, sun's up. She spots something just right over the top of the tree. She pulls the car over. If you see something, pull the car over. Pulls the car over and is just watching this thing. And she described it as just like special effects in a movie, morphing. She's like, are these birds? Is this a drone? What am I looking at here? And right as she's doing that, 2 interceptors come in really low. I mean, she sees interceptors out there all the time. Buckley Air Force Base or Space Force. I'm not sure what it's called now. They moved it to Space Force, but they might have just changed it again. Anyway, you see these things doing maneuvers out there from time to time, but she said these were lower than normal, coming right in at whatever it was she was witnessing. And she said, just like a special effects in a movie, it just vanished. And so what that says to me is that they're watching something on radar, or they're aware of something that they're aware of that is in the skies way before the event or other people are witnessing. And I think that's true with the animal mutilations as well. I feel like these choppers in certain cases, and we'll go over some of these articles as well, they were privy to almost to the herds that were going to be targeted before they were targeted. What's that about? How did they know that? Are there indicators or markers that they were privy to that the rest of us just haven't caught on yet? I mean, what is that all about? So I think that's a really important question. How are they knowing that these are going to be occurring to certain cattle and certain herds before it happens? Are they targeted? Are they marked? Are they marked by the mystery mutilators? And I know there's been reports in the past of people running black lights over, and they actually see that they were marked with either triangles or something on the animals before they were mutilated. I'll have to find that and I'll pop it in, or we'll do it on another episode where I learned about that. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. Or even on Skinwalker Ranch, certain animals, and out there at the Snippy event in the San Luis Valley, some animals would act strangely before they were mutilated, as if something was going on before the mutilation actually occurred, where they're spinning or distancing themselves from the herd and things like that. So it's an interesting question. Okay, here's the next one. The helicopters are governmental military. The operatives and their superiors are very knowledgeable about the identity and motives of the mutilators, and by their presence, or they are diverting our attention to the possibility of direct involvement by the military or U.S. government for whatever the reason might be. So that's what I just said, basically. Like, maybe the government military are already privy to what these mutilators are doing. Did we give them permission to do that? Are they monitoring, keeping count? That could be a possibility. Or the answer could lie in some combination of the above, which I think is probably most likely. On the other hand, the choppers could be paragovernmental, perhaps a renegade cadre from within the government without official sanction because of the clandestine, even illegal nature of the operation. Or the choppers might belong to an ultra government, an international cabal. Any or all of these groups could be involved in biological experimentation, chemical, biological, bacteriological warfare experimentation, weapons research, or the geobotanical pursuit of petroleum and mineral deposits, or something not considered yet. The question arises, if such helicopters have been reported, looking and acting as they and their pilots act, shouldn't authorities such as the Federal Aviation Administration be extremely interested? In late 1975, following several weeks of mutilations and mystery helicopter and UFO reports in northeastern New Mexico, the Tucumcari, New Mexico News, which would be July 11, 1975, announced that James Gordon, a federal aviation administrator, local area coordinator, announced late Wednesday, 11/5/75, the FAA has officially entered into the investigation of the sightings of the aircraft over northeastern New Mexico. At the present time, the FAA investigators are in the field taking depositions from individuals who have actually seen these aircraft. In response to the Freedom of Information Act requests in 1978 and 1979 to FAA offices in Albuquerque and Tucumcari, to the Southwest Region Office in Fort Worth, and to the Rocky Mountain Region Office in Denver, the FAA denied having any information about the Northeast New Mexico mystery helicopters and UFOs or any investigation thereof. If there was such an investigation, what did it find? Reason not to announce its findings? Why didn't they announce what they found? Why did they hide it? Among the more interesting and disquieting revelations extracted from the federal agencies via the FOIA are tales of helicopter and UFO overflights over such Air Force bases as Loring in Maine, Wurtsmith in Michigan, and Malmstrom in Montana in the autumn of 1975. So military bases are being buzzed as well. Some of the craft involved were firmly identified as helicopters. At other times, they were just low-flying aircraft or simply anomalous lights. We need this in the disclosure documents. How about these studies? Whatever they were brazenly invading restricted airspace, flying dangerously low, ignoring radio contact, and exhibiting no identifying markings. But the helicopters that are of special interest to this study, beyond almost always being unmarked and flying at low altitudes, pay a lot of attention to herds of cattle and to mutilation sites, past and future. These aircraft are an integral part of the complete animal mutilation picture. They will have to be accounted for. Agreed. The following is a chronological catalog of mystery helicopter events. Due to space limitations, we will not mention it in every case, but these events occurred in the general or specific vicinity of animal mutilation sites. As many familiar with the distribution of the phenomenon will be aware, hopefully a more comprehensive enumeration will be available in the future. We hope that any factual errors are minor, and we will appreciate corrections from anyone with knowledge of specific cases. We encourage investigators to submit additional reports to us, as we are certain that there are many incidents of which we are unaware and many about which we have few details. Further information will aid in producing a more meaningful analysis of the mystery helicopter aspect of the livestock mutilation problem. That is so true. There's so many ranchers that just don't want any attention, don't want to report it. That was true then and is true today still. And it's important to note this is still going on here as we speak in Colorado, across the country. I know if you haven't seen Investigation Alien, the first one, they're talking to ranchers that are getting hit hard right now, both in I think in Washington and in Oregon. I think the ones they talked to were in Oregon, so they're getting hit right now as we speak pretty hard. So, okay, so here we go. Chronological listing of events, unidentified helicopters associated with animal mutilations. There's so many of these, and these just are awesome. You know what I'm going to do? Let's do these in the next episode where we just start reading these off without me jabbering on about other things. So I'll try to do that hopefully this weekend, so it'll be out pretty quick back to back. We'll do the chronological listing of events, unidentified helicopters associated with animal mutilations. That'll be in the next episode. So happy to be back. Hope you're all doing well and that your week has been filled with more wonder than worry, and you're staying cool out there. And we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.